Hello! 안녕하세요, 여러분. Welcome to Sakura Pop, where your K-drama music comes to life. I'm your host, Jackie, and I'm here with my ever insightful partner in crime, Bonnie.
Hi everyone. 안녕하세요. I don't know about being ever insightful though, but thank you.
You don't give yourself enough credits.
Thank you.
We
So,
are chatting about episodes 17 to 18 today. And we are very much caught up with the weekly offerings of new episodes on Vincenzo.
I
We've
know.
gotten there with our diligent watching.
We
And
can't even cheat and go ahead. We don't even have that option anymore.
no, our hands are tied.
Yeah.
And yeah, things are really ramping up. This latter half of the series has just been excellent. It's fantastic. I'm so excited every single episode.
Yeah, which is great because we were saying before that, second half of K-dramas are tend to be disappointing. So, it hasn't disappointed yet.
Nope. And I predict that it will just continue to barrel on at light speed and stay as thrilling and entertaining until the very end. How many episodes are left?
You know what? It just occurred to me. I think we're at the last like next week's gonna be the last week because it's 20 episodes, isn't it?
Wow, that's perfect. This is excellent pacing, like one of the best pacing that I've ever seen for a
Yeah.
Korean drama.
Wow. I'm in shock. It didn't occur to me until now.
We are now
Ah,
speechless.
I know.
But without further ado, let's begin with our episode summaries for 17 and 18. Vincenzo spares Zhang and his conspirators bodily damage, for the most part. Instead, he intends to drive out all of the corrupt support by staging a bomb threat inside an investor meeting. One of the bombs turned out to be real and kills one of Vincenzo's hunting dogs. Younger brother Jang lures Vincenzo to be captured by Interpol, but at gunpoint, Vincenzo turns things around and gains the upper hand. Turns out he had the upper hand all along, thanks to our younger brother Jang, who is now treating Vincenzo like a long lost brother. But he's not our only mole. It turns out that the director of International Security Intelligence is cooperating with Vincenzo and is passing him intel from amongst the investor meetings. The investors all start to turn on Jang Han-sok, even taking attempts on his life. With his life in danger, Jang Han-sok willingly puts himself in jail, falling into Vincenzo's scheme. Vincenzo decides to return to Italy for 2 weeks and leaves Cha Young with her Babel court case. The new player, a presidential candidate, finds Miss Seo's identity and forces her to open the vault, only to find it, ta-da, empty. Miss
Dun, dun, dun.
Seo and Cha Young are in danger when Vincenzo makes a surprise appearance to kick them all your asses.
I love the ending. Uh, those are good episodes. Maybe not as good as the one before, I have to say, because the one before was so good, but still a lot happened.
Yep, I'm kept on my toes for sure.
Mhm.
I'm laughing, I'm sitting at the edge of my seat, so many emotions that I'm feeling every
So many
single
emotions.
episode.
It's so heartwarming these last 2 episodes, I find. Did you?
I especially adore the interactions between Vincenzo and younger brother Jang.
Me too. So I don't know if you felt the same way, but the hockey rink scene, I knew something was up.
And that's your insight coming into work because I was totally taken in. They completely had me. And with the whole back and forth talk of Vincenzo saying, well, I guess, now you've achieved your goal. You've got you've got control over the corporation. You don't need me anymore. You've used me. And now here we are. And the younger brother, responding with, why do I always have to make these difficult decisions in life? So I was sucked into their little game, their little charade.
You know what kind of tipped me off was if that was the case, they didn't have to do that whole scene, the previous hockey rink scene where he almost fell, like younger brother Jang almost fell, and then Vincenzo caught him, and you can see the bromance brewing there, and I'm like, oh, he's like treating him like a brother now. So I think he really respects him. And then the other thing is, I think younger brother. I think I've always had a soft spot for him because I feel like he's like a little lamb.
He's a lost puppy who's
Yeah, he's always been a puppet. So I didn't think he had that evilness inside of him. I think it was just his brother, making him do all these things. So I had faith that he was a good person underneath all that.
I had my doubts of whether underneath all of that the good will shine through. Um, because when a person's kind of been abused all of their life and terrorized, the only thing psychologically that person, like that child, ends up learning as they grow up into adult is to do the same unto others, like how he's been treated, that's how he would treat other people.
Mm-hmm.
So as I hoped for what you've been seeing, Bonnie, but
Mm-hmm.
I never lost uh, sight of the possibility that Jung Han Sol may not completely be bought over to Vincentro's side, and even if he did get brought over, he might still double cross him. So
Right.
I'm very wary because this drama has taught me to be suspicious of every scene.
That is true. But maybe that's why the last few episodes were good because it was nice and heartwarming to see that there are good people. Because I think for the first half of the show, it's like that person's bad too. Like you can't trust anyone. But I think in the last few episodes, it's like, oh, actually, there are people that you can trust. At least for now. Who knows what's going to happen in the next two episodes?
Yeah.
Maybe some people will turn their backs on Vincenzo. Who knows, right?
So not all bad guys have to be coerced into doing the right thing.
Yeah.
As I maybe only deserve half a point to my tally on predictions coming true because I thought Jung Han Sol would have to be threatened or coerced into
Right.
helping Vincenzo.
But he was bought over by his love for Vincenzo,
Yes, by their blooming
obviously.
romance.
Romance. And it's quite cute to see that, like you said.
Hmm.
Um,
It's what he's always wanted.
I have an older brother. And it seems like that's like the running theme too, because the balloon hot air balloon man wants Vincenzo to be his younger brother. It's like, and then the secret agent, international secret agent guy is so respectful of Vincent. I feel like Vincenzo's like winning everyone over, not only all the fans, of course, that are watching, but like everyone in the show too.
What they're presenting to us in this drama is that good people will eventually fall in with other good people, and they'll work together and they stay much stronger than their adversaries who operate out of greed, selfishness, and corruption.
But it's interesting you use the word good people, right? Because is Vincenzo still really good? Because you see all the things that he does. He's not holding back anymore. He's like killing people left, right, and center.
You're going
And
philosophical on me.
right? Because is he good? I don't know. And then that scene with him like always flashing back to like killing someone and maybe killing that child in that car. Who knows? I think that's a very interesting scene. Why did they keep flashing back to that? So I wonder what the significance of that
It's a
is.
reminder to us viewers that, you know, uh, even though we are completely charmed by Vincenzo and we as the viewers are totally on his side, unequivocally, it does not hide the fact that he's done things that are outside the borders of the law,
Mm-hmm.
and some things, like murdering people, no matter what, like it's
Yeah.
considered to be unethical.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
he
true.
and it's also a moral question I think society struggles with as well, in that how do you deliver justice? What does that look like? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, what about for all of those victims who may have suffered worse fates? So, is it enough to just put the perpetrators in jail?
Yeah.
Like, would that make them feel remorseful? Would they feel regret? And is Vincenzo's take is, none of these people intend to make amends. They're just going to keep on going their evil, corrupt ways forever and ever and take advantage of innocent people as long as they can get away with it.
Right. And you can see that in the scene with Chaeyoung, where the man who killed her father blew up.
Mm-hmm.
She was struggling with that concept, right?
Yep.
And that was interesting to see because she was so like gung ho on, everything so far.
Mm-hmm.
And then when that happened, you can tell that she was in so much shock and she didn't really know how to handle it.
Yeah, she's shaken every time she realizes that Vincenzo has shot and killed somebody.
Yeah. And at one point, I'm like, oh, is she gonna like back out of this? You can see that in her face. And then, I don't know. That was a very interesting scene.
I think for somebody who's never been raised like Vincenzo is raised, she's been definitely a lot more sheltered
Oh, yeah.
in
Like,
any
look at her
case.
dad.
Yeah,
He's
that's
like
right.
the nicest person ever. So,
Yeah, so I mean, her dad would definitely not have condoned this kind of
no.
work
Maybe that's why he had to die.
because he would get in the way.
Yeah, it wouldn't have worked, if he
Yeah,
was the partner.
yeah,
He wouldn't have allowed any of this.
yeah. I think Vincenzo is giving the just desserts. Yeah, he's a member of the mafia, and all of these other bad people might as well also be members of the mafia, and he's treating them the same way. It's like a turf war, you know?
Mhm.
It's best if innocent people don't get involved and don't get hurt.
Mhm.
But there's nothing left but for them to take each other out.
Can we talk about the Gumga Plaza tenants? At one point I'm like, I'm annoyed by them. I don't want to see them anymore. But this episode was so good with them joining his mafia, basically, and like and then how much they cared for him when they found out his mom passed away. That was so nice to see, and I really like them now.
Yeah, they've essentially become part of his mafia family. He's created his
Yeah,
own brand of mafia family in Korea.
I know. And when you first like when I first saw them, I would have never thought. I'm just like they're just normal tenants. They can't do much for him,
Yeah,
but you can see that they all have their own skill sets and in a funny way help him.
and there's nothing that says teamwork that a wardrobe change wouldn't say.
Yeah. Yeah, they all look so good.
Yeah, I love the slow-mo walking out of the plaza shots.
I know. Uh, that was a good scene. I like that.
And none of them have died so far.
Which I'm still
Yes.
fearful of.
Just like I said, the people who are in for the comedic effect will remain unharmed. But yeah, this team, it's It is very neat to see. It was slow to develop, but when we finally get there,
Mhm.
like now we have Chung Han So and Mr. Cho's loyalties are completely bound to Vincenzo now.
Mhm.
It's a much stronger bond that they have with each other than the bad guys have for each other.
Yeah, the bad guys don't like I can see them just, not being loyal to each other within a split second.
They're actively backstabbing each other. They've sent
Yeah.
killers out for Jang Hang Sok, who they've
Yeah.
been basically worshiping all this time. It's a very
Yeah.
fragile allyship.
Cuz there's no respect there. It's all fear,
Yep.
right? And like greed. Um Speaking of which, were you surprised about what that lawyer did? The CEO, the previous CEO of Wu Sang, who is now the chief prosecutor. I felt like it was out of character.
Yeah, I'm confused about what his intentions are
Yeah.
because okay, once if Vincenzo is captured, then there is no more opposing force to Babel. So is that what he wants? But if that's what he wants, then why didn't he just completely side with Sok in the first place?
Mhm.
Is he planning to double cross everybody? Now that he's chief prosecutor, he's become almost untouchable. So if he's got evidence, hidden in the guillotine files or elsewhere and backing of a presidential candidate, woo, um, then perhaps he can get rid of Vincenzo and Jung Hun Suk.
I guess so, but it's very short-sighted because, you know, as you see, title doesn't mean anything in this show. Because Vincenzo can just kill you regardless of who you are.
He can
Like
sneak in your
he's so
house, talk to your wife and your kid.
yeah. So it's like, yeah, sure, you can be chief whatever, you can be the mayor, whatever, but you can still die. It doesn't protect you against that, right? So I don't know. I didn't think it was a very smart move on his part, and I guess it's in keeping with his not very witty and smart self. But it was not, yeah. I was like, "What are you doing? You are not. This is not." I'm with his colleague, uh the lawyer, the woman lawyer.
Mm, Chae
How he
Myung.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like how she was like, you weren't on his hit list, and then now somehow you decided to put yourself on his hit list.
Yeah, that was good. How about the one who got away? So Jang Hang Sok. I thought he was gonna lose his whole ear to that gunshot wound. He escaped with a very fashionable piercing instead.
Yeah, I think that's what people are saying online. I think it was more. I think Vincenzo's point is just to humiliate him and make him feel like make him angry, which it did. It made him so angry.
Hmm.
I don't think he meant to do any like crazy harm or anything like that. So I was happy with what he did.
It is more convenient. I mean, you can't have one of your main actors like limp around the rest of the series
Hmm.
if he got
I
shot
mean,
like in a more critical area.
yeah, yeah.
I'm a
So
little bit disappointed. I
are
mean, if you're
you?
gonna play up the fear, you might as well inflict a wound to go along with it because hey, that'll give them all PTSD. I am a lot more crueler than I than I thought I could be.
I think he achieved that with the future like terrorizing that he did. Um, with people coming into his home chasing him out, and
Oh yeah.
the other time, what was the other time?
It's shining happening again, Bonnie. It's a
Yeah,
repeat of a horror show.
exactly. To the point where he accepts going into jail,
Yeah.
right? That's how bad he's scared of dying.
Yes.
So I'm liking him less and less.
But I'm happier and happier with the continuing outcome.
Yeah, that's true.
Like all of Jung Han Sok's unethical decisions,
Mhm.
all of the bad things that he's done is coming round in full circle to haunt him.
But we have a new bad guy. We have the
Presidential candidate.
presidential candidate, which came out of nowhere.
They had to add somebody who can pull even more influence, I suppose, when
Mhm.
we get tired of Jung Han Sok.
Yeah.
Because Jung
Right.
Han Sok is losing it every
He
episode.
is. Yeah.
All he's doing is ordering more killings. There's no more stratagem around what Babel is doing. They might as well be a contract killing agency. Like they have to add a new player to the mix who can be
Mhm.
a lot more rational and sound-minded.
Mhm. And powerful.
Yep. Yeah, that's right.
Um That's true. So it's really well written, at the point where you're like, yeah, this villain is not really doing much for us anymore. Let's add a new a new one that can actually stir things up. So
And they
that
know
was
about
a
the file. They're after
mm-hmm.
the file.
Yeah, and the gold.
One file to rule them all. Jung Han Sok said it. He said, "One file to rule them all." And I think he even said, "Precious, my precious."
Oh. I think he made a lot of references. Is it Lord of the
It
Rings?
is. It was
Yeah.
such like I knew it as soon as I heard it because I'm a huge fan of Lord of the Rings, and it's just such a fun reference, like to other movies that they're making. Like they mentioned The Godfather.
Yes.
It's really hilarious.
They made so many they made Home Alone reference last time. And then they made Lord of the Rings, they made Godfather. And then did you see they made a reference to Crash Landing on You?
Did they now? Oh,
At
when?
one point, they're
Oh,
like
about the North Korean.
North Korean soldier.
Yes.
um, and I think they made
Brilliant.
other references. It's so like all these Easter eggs are so funny.
It's brilliant.
Yeah,
So
I love it.
I highly recommend that viewers pay a lot of attention when you're watching this drama. Don't watch it while you're trying to multitask with something else because you will miss all these golden Easter eggs.
Yeah, so fun. So were you as disappointed as I was when they were going to send Vincenzo off to Italy?
Definitely. Yeah. How can I not be disappointed? He's the star of the show. Like what's going to happen
Exactly.
to everybody else? Like he just leaves them hanging and there are like killers everywhere.
Yeah.
It seemed it seemed to be a not wisely calculated move. I'm
Mhm.
not sure why they bothered to put that in there if he was going to come back anyways in a split second. um,
I think they wanted a twist, but I was like, okay.
yeah. Maybe at some point, because this show seems to be very good at bringing back any loose end that they haven't tied.
Mhm.
So maybe something in Italy will end up affecting events in Korea.
That's true. That is very
Because
true.
why else did they bring that?
Yeah, I was worried. I'm like, Luca, are you so good,
Yeah,
boy?
me
Are
too.
you are
We're
you
suspicious of everything
I
now.
know.
You can't take anything at face value anymore.
I don't know, Luca. Why are you here?
Yeah. Are you what you really seem?
Exactly.
Are
So
you a
I
helper
had to
or do you secretly have a knife stashed in your belt?
everyone has a knife or a gun or a bomb or something. It's always my fear. Or scissors, according to Scissor. I really like Scissorman.
Scissor man.
He's one of my favorite tenants.
He's your Edward Scissorhands.
Yep. I like him, and then I like the IT girl, and Balloon Man is starting to grow on me. I like all of them.
And I'm sure they will continue to work as a very effective team. I'm hoping that there is at least one more heist with our full cast. Like I want to see that. One more, please,
Yeah.
before the whole
Yeah.
thing ends.
Which is soon.
Yep. So there are lots of deals that are happening in the meantime, and I do believe that it'll all come in full circle. So
Mhm.
Vincenzo handed over some data to Interpol about the Jason paper company, and
Mhm.
that's linked
Jason.
back to Babel.
Right.
So that's probably gonna go somewhere. So keep your eye on that, viewers. And Cha Yong still has her hold on the museum files. There's more evidence of Babel's corruption and their financial manipulations.
Mhm.
So at some point, that's going to become critical evidence.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can see the dominoes are falling. Like Babel Tower
Yep.
is collapsing in itself.
Yep. And then I want to see what happens to Prosecutor Zhang, who is so
Yes,
despicable.
he's still
Um,
got a trick up his sleeve.
yeah. Every time I see his face, it's like, ugh, I don't like you.
Yeah.
We need to get rid of him.
He's been threatened too. He can't be
He has.
immune to
Nope.
that particular scare.
Exactly. So Prosecutor Zhang, something's gonna happen to Lawyer Han.
Mhm.
Um, and then Lawyer Che,
Mhm. Yeah,
Zhang Han
Chimyong.
Sok, and yeah. And then what happened to the gold?
I know what happened to it.
You know?
Well, not no, but it's
You
such a
you have a
it's such a
prediction.
sound prediction that I feel like this is exactly what's happened. It can't be anything else because the clue was thrown in front of our face.
What is it?
Do you remember that the part in the hallway where one of the tenants was talking to the monks, and she's pitying them because they're going out for alms, so to get
Yes.
donation money for the temple.
Yes.
And they've been doing that every single day with backpacks on.
Oh.
Oh, yes, you see where I'm
Oh
going
my
with?
gosh. You're so smart. How did you guess that?
I was suspicious, of course, just like Vincenzo taught us to be.
That's so smart. I wonder,
They move the gold.
because at one point, Vincenzo went to talk to them and he said, it's time to fix our greed. We need to talk to the monks. And he
Hmm.
was trying to convince them to move out. I wonder if that's when they conspired this whole thing.
That'd be pretty amazing because for Vincenzo to confide such a deep secret, to the tenants, it's extraordinary. Like
Well,
he's this
initially, I wouldn't have believed that, but I think they've built a bond like a family to the point where I'm not surprised anymore.
right. Like he feels that uh, they're all 100% trustworthy. He could
Mm-hmm.
trust them with his life and his
Mm-hmm.
gold.
Yep. And he has so much. Don't
Yep.
be so
And
greedy.
they've always been able to, at that point, from the point that Miss So was recruited into their team, like after she revealed her identity, at any point from there on, they could have moved the gold. They could open the vault. Like
Yeah, that's true.
she would have had plenty of time to crack it open. I mean, she cracked it open in like, I don't know, the 5 minutes since she was sitting there with the bad guys. So if it was so easy to do,
Why didn't they do it earlier?
yeah, and clearly they did.
That makes sense. Oh, that's so smart, Jackie. Okay, I trust you on this one. I feel like you're right. That is really cool.
I should get like 100 points if I get that right.
You should. Okay, 100 points for you. Brownie points.
And Vincenzo makes a last minute save.
Mm-hmm. The
Woo!
manly wrist grab.
Yeah. I was completely, I was clapping and I was cheering in reaction to that. I think all of the things that happened just culminated to me being so invested in all of Vincenzo's efforts that
Yeah.
this just is the icing on top of the cake. He doesn't make a lot of these dramatic last minute saves, putting himself physically in position to defend everybody else. Like, it doesn't happen usually like this. It happens usually as part of a very elaborate scheme
Mhm.
and where he's planned out and kind of predicted the enemy's movement. So this is one of the rare times when it's not scripted in the way of his predictions. This is
Mhm.
it's just a matter of some thugs busting in to kidnap and threaten your friends, and the hero leaps into action.
I think it had something to do with that phone call he made to Mr. Cho,
Yeah, they never did.
right?
I just assumed that Mr. Cho never picked up.
But you see, he said something in code words to him about feeding the birds.
Ah, that's
So
what
they
it
might
was
have like
about.
a code word or a code phrase that they use in case, like, he gets into danger. That's how he informs Vincenzo.
Yeah, I like that.
I, I wonder. That's my prediction.
I like that. I thought that was just a witty offhand remark, but it would make so much
It's
sense.
random, right?
I was willing for that to happen. Like when I watch Mr. Cho log in and start retrieving data from the
Mhm.
intelligence security system.
Mhm.
In my mind's eye, I was willing for Mr. Cho to use that same security system to send a cryptic message to
Mhm.
Vincenzo and let him know what's going on.
Yeah, that was so hard to watch. I'm like, no.
I mean, these are resourceful people. Like, Mr.
Yeah.
Cho is extremely resourceful. There was
Mhm.
just no way that he wouldn't be able to give Vincenzo an inside look at what's happening. I just love that. All that teamwork. It's like the Lego movie says, everything is awesome. Everything is cool if you're part of a team.
Yeah, like what I liked about this show is that, there's a cliffhanger at the end of every episode, but then they quickly flash back and show you like what really happened and so there's no like, it's not dragged out. You kind of figure everything out and you're like, oh, that's so cool. That's what happened, right?
Hmm.
So that's what I really enjoy about it. Um, yeah.
It's like a mystery kind of immediately
Mm-hmm.
unraveling itself.
Mm-hmm. So the whole like ice rink scene, I'm guessing all of that is imagined, or they just like, the scene with them in the container and him like killing off the Interpol people and like shooting younger brother Jang. That was all just imagination. None of that happened.
That imaginary scene is imagined by Jung Hang So as he's retelling it to his brother.
Oh, yes. Yes, that makes
There
sense.
we go.
Because it shows him
Okay.
in the hospital.
Okay, we pondered it out good.
There you go. It was just not for random, like, here, viewers, this is what we want you to believe.
No.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
So that was how he described what happened.
Yes.
Although you can tell that, like, the bad guys don't really believe him. He was not that good of a liar.
He's a terrible liar. He
Right? They're
relied.
like, sure. So you wanted to kill Vincenzo with a gun?
Yeah, yeah. But
So.
I like his reply at that. He said, "Are you an idiot, Miss Chae Myung? Like, have you seen what Vincenzo can do? He carries a gun. I'm gonna be killed if I don't do the same." That was hilarious. Like, it had
He's
me
definitely
rolling on the
getting
floor.
smarter.
He is. He's been reading a lot of books. I don't know anything about Elizabeth Holmes,
Oh, me
but
neither.
I took the drama's word for it.
Yeah. But that was like, oh, look at you, younger brother. You're not stupid anymore. It's nice seeing him grow up,
Yeah. Yes, he's
cheering him on.
matured.
Yeah.
I'm looking up Elizabeth Holmes now just because I don't want any references to get away from me. So she's an American former businessman who was the founder and CEO of a now defunct health technology company.
Oh.
She dropped out of Stanford University at 19 to start a blood testing startup called Theranos. But it all came crashing down when the shortcomings and inaccuracies of the company's technology were exposed, and Holmes was charged with massive fraud. It looks like she maybe hasn't been convicted yet, but if she is, she could face up to 20 years in prison. Interesting.
Interesting.
Of all the different examples and stuff that they came up with something that, most people would probably not know about
Yeah,
unless you pay a
that's
lot of
true.
attention to finance news.
No, I don't think this is a very popular reference compared to some of the other references they made in the show.
I love this
But it
show.
just shows that, younger brother Jang is resourceful because he's able to find information about it. So good boy, good boy.
Hmm. Well, shall we wrap things up? Anyways, thank you everybody for listening in. If you have any opinions or comments you would like to share, then please email us at Bonnie.
SakuraPopcast@gmail.com.
All right, everybody, that's a wrap. Thank you so much for listening to Sakura Pop. Keep musing about those K dramas, and we will see you next week for our finale of Vincenzo. Au revoir for now, or
안녕.
adios. 안녕.